Overwatch 2 was released on October 4th, which means that the full month is right around the corner. I'll be honest, I felt like it went super fast, but now I want to discuss, after 1 month, after its initial hype, where is Overwatch 2 and what can we expect from it moving forward? Now, it went through its first event, Overwatch League is kicking off, and on top of that, the initial hype is disparaging. And I think that's important because we can't judge a game until the initial hype is gone. I'm going to make a follow-up video to this in December, and I think that's important because we're supposed to get the tank hero in December, and that's going to be another turning point to see how heroes affect peak interest. But hear me out, let's have a little bit of a discussion here. So, as you can see, between October 2nd and 8th, Overwatch 2 peaked. This makes a ton of sense, as I'm going to be using both the terms Overwatch and Overwatch 2. Some people are still confusing them, but it makes perfect sense, right? Mainly between October 2 and 8, the marketing, the release date on the 4th, and the first few couple days. Now, what follows this is actually a decline that I felt was very sharp because most of its popularity actually declined, or most of its peak declined after 2 weeks. But let's be honest, this makes a lot of sense. It's a free-to-play. People who don't really care about Overwatch will also be checking it out. I mean, why wouldn't they? It's literally free. However, following this, we're having a little bit of a slump. We can see that it's starting to level out, but it didn't completely die off, which makes a ton of sense. My assumption is that this will level off at a raised rate compared to the previous Overwatch, as the new one is still just more fun. The 5v5 is better, it's more balanced, it's more engaging. I feel like I can play most heroes and enjoy it. Rip Boop Fist, oh my god, my poor guy. But other than that, I am really enjoying the game, and I think most people are as well, despite their monetization concerns. Now, following this, a lot of people do like to use stuff like the Twitch category, right? Like how many people are following or viewing Overwatch 2. Now, I'm making this video pretty early in the day, so the views are generally down. But I do think the big problem with using this is it's way too fluctuant. I think too many creators or too many people who discuss use Twitch as some sort of numerical value on if the game's dying or not, but it's really not that great because someone like XQC, who's at the top 0.01% of Twitch, he controls the site too heavily, right? In this exact case, what does this make him? This makes him what, over 30%, over 35% of the total views in the category. Like, he can go offline and then 10 decent sized Twitch streamers have to come through just to make back his views. Doesn't make too much sense. I do not like using the Twitch category at all, personally. Now, where this leaves us, in my opinion, is the related queries. Because if you look at Overwatch 2 and Overwatch, both of them are Kiriko, Overwatch, Overwatch 2 Kiriko, and then Kiriko again, and then again in fourth Kiriko, Overwatch 2. These are insanely high to the related search. Like, Kiriko becomes so many. What, there's 10 on our screen. There is 10 on our screens. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50% of the related searches have Kiriko in the name. So in my opinion, despite I don't know, it is opinion based, but I genuinely believe Overwatch's future hinges on non-cosmetic content. Cosmetic content does build a community in the game, but since Overwatch originally had free cosmetics or easier to obtain cosmetics, it is causing this division, and I do not know if it'll heal. I do not know if people will accept that they have to pay and then slowly elapse into enjoying skin releases like they do in Valorant. I cover Valorant skin releases. They tend to do well because the community is built and conditioned to spend the money. However, a nice, beautiful thing is if we organize by the past 7 days, we see this fluctuation, which is why I believe it's going to be leveling off. And on top of that, the top searches have a lot to do with patch notes, or at least one patch note, and then a ton of witches, a Halloween event time start. People at least were interested in the event. So in my personal opinion, if there's a good Christmas event with actual content, actual legitimate PvE, enjoyable gameplay, followed by good skins, quality cosmetics, and consistent patch notes, we're going to continue to see interest in Overwatch 2 because I think related search results and the leveling in the last week show that now it is on Blizzard. The ball is in their court to keep dribbling, to keep adding content, and to keep hitting those scores. And okay, I don't know why I used the basketball. Okay, I went off topic there, but you get the idea. It's literally up to them to keep that content rolling. And I think some of these search results prove that as long as they keep that content rolling, Overwatch 2 will have a healthy, long life as a free-to-play title. The only last thing I've noticed that I really want to touch up on is the areas of which Overwatch is popular. We're going to go back to the last 30 days, so its release. Okay, we can see this level off, exactly what I'm talking about. And I would just say that the interests, my problem is with the interests on the countries. I do believe, so as you can see, very strong North American presence, right? My problem is that they fall off really hard, at least in my opinion, kind of like South Asia. And I think it's a very, I know you guys don't care, you might not care. I think it's a very important market to capture, in my opinion. And I think the phone number verification, I think they should put it back to only be ranked and allow it to be easier to access, because I do think there's a huge missing market because of that phone number. I actually have people who are excited, real people I talk on Discord, who are excited, who can no longer play because of it, and they haven't since launch. It's still something I talk about, it's still something that might get me some hate or dislikes. I just don't find it the best method, and I think it's something that should be fixed, because I don't think they're capturing all the markets they can, which is very important for a free-to-play title. It's about playing on a global scale when you literally don't need to pay for your game, right? You literally do not need to pay for that game. The last thing I want to do is, and I apologize for I keep pulling comparisons, but something like Valorant or Riot Games in general does rely a lot on esports. And I feel like we can tell here that esports for Overwatch is still not very, like, they're incentivizing with skin drops, so views will be naturally higher, yet still interest is pretty minimal. Right? I would say right here, which is I think when they announced the skins, it peaked, right? Overwatch League, OWL. But in general, I feel like the interest does not keep up with Overwatch. It is still substantially low to comparison in the game. And I am really scared of Blizzard over dumping resources in pro play. That's what they did the first time around in Overwatch 1, but that's more of a niche opinion, and I'm okay being wrong there. It's just what I think. But in the end, even Valorant has way lower search results than the game itself. Like, the esports is usually still way lower than the game, but it does have a more global reach. So I'm not 100% sure. I always get a little bit worried, especially with the fact that they're not, in my opinion, I don't know, tuning stuff fast enough. I mean, Doomfist is a literal joke. Boopfist, okay? We literally call him Boopfist because all he's doing is booping people around, not getting any proper kills, low damage. They haven't even adjusted him yet, and it has been a month. I believe as a live service, they need to adopt a 2-week patch cycle, which they haven't shown they'll do yet. And without a 2-week patch cycle, I'm a little concerned. Fortnite, Valorant, and League, I can't speak for Apex, I don't know Apex, but those three I know have a 2-week patch cycle, and that does make the game feel more alive, which is their goal, right? Right now, the only cycle is that shop, so Blizzard needs to set these priorities straight early, get maybe a 2-week patch cycle, make sure no hero is useless, adjust balances consistently to shake up the meta, and continuously add content. If they pull those off, I actually think Overwatch will last a long time, but let me know what you think in the comments down below.